Hey there everybody, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. We're going to talk about Ubisoft, and they just cannot catch a break. So, let's cue the music and we'll get right to it. So we got a new rumor. Ubisoft disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. We talked about this game a week or so ago. It's kind of like the game that slid under the radar for Ubisoft this year, in a year of immense, massive, catastrophic failures with stuff like, what was it, Skull and Bones? Bad. $800 million down the drain. And then Star Wars Outlaws underperforming. Assassin's Creed Shadows getting bumped till next year. It just feels like, this game kind of got lost in the shuffle of all that news and all that negativity within Ubisoft. But yeah, here we are. I think when I talked about it, I said that team would probably get shut down, and sure enough, it looks like that's happening. A new rumor alleges that Ubisoft disbanded the team that developed Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Now, I remember the original Prince of Persia, God, back in the day. It was probably the first Nintendo, maybe I don't know. It goes back so many years and so many systems ago. It's hard to remember where some of these games I came across for the first time. But I remember it was a pretty badass game. And this is an IP that's just kind of existed through the years. It's like a little side-scrolling platformer type thing. Pretty neat, from what I remember back then. But nowadays, I don't know if it's just lost, kind of like lost its luster through the years, like this isn't as popular as it used to be, or what, I don't know. But the rumor comes from French YouTube channel Origami, whose host detailed that at the Ubisoft Montpellier office employees were seen transporting boxes of supplies from one floor to another. He notes the reason this was being done is because Ubisoft disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. Using YouTube's translate function, the Origami host states, "In recent days at Ubisoft Montpellier, we are transporting boxes from one floor to another, and it is quite a symbol because it is that of dissolution, not announced to the public, but completed, of the team Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown." Now, the host went on to share that the decision to disband the team was made shortly after the game was released at the beginning of this year. It released on January 18th, 2024. It came out on the Switch, the Xbox, and the PlayStation, and he said it was clear in the spring, in fact, a few patches, a DLC, and we are packing up. And there it goes. Now, this game didn't resonate with me when I saw it advertised and all that. It's just, first off, I've kind of gotten past this type of game. I don't play these platformers anymore. They just, I don't know, they just don't appeal to me, right? They're just kind of like, whatever. It can be a little annoying. They even annoyed me when I was young. It wasn't my favorite type of game. Some of them were great. Some of them were a lot of fun. But yeah, this one was not so much. And I don't like the art style once again. There's a real push for this cartoony art lately that I'm just not fond of it. I prefer something with, it doesn't have to be hyper realistic or anything like that, but I just like something that the people look like people and they don't look all comic booky and all that kind of stuff. This is indicative of a lot of games lately. Games like Concord, had that very cartoony, goofy look to it, and it's just, it doesn't appeal to me, right? The new, what do you call it? God, the new Dragon Age makes this look super hyper realistic. But there's another great example of this cartoony art that seems to be permeating the industry, and I'm not fond of it. But anyway, while Ubisoft management had to make the decision to move on from the game shortly after it was released, the host claimed that some members of the core development team fought for 2 DLCs in an attempt to change the minds of management. However, Ubisoft management were unconvinced, especially given the game's sales were below expectations. Instead, they wanted to reallocate the team to more potentially lucrative projects. Furthermore, the team was told that if they were to release a sequel, it could cannibalize the long-term sales of the first game. Well, there might be some long-term sales. I don't know. I honestly, I don't even know how well this game did. I don't even remember. I remember hearing about it coming out. I don't remember hearing about it getting released. And I don't remember, that's how small of an impact it had on the industry. It's just like it was a fart in the wind. It was gone. Nobody knew, I didn't hear anybody talking about it. I'm sure some people talked about it, but it just seemed to come and go. The team fought for 2 DLCs. if you got a game that's not selling, you probably, it seems like you never sell as much DLC as you do the original game. And that makes sense, right? You got people that are going to buy a game, they're going to play it, they're going to put it away and move on to the next thing. If you put out DLC 6 months later, a year later, whatever, some people will go, oh, you know what, I'd like to go back into that realm. And other people are like, you know what, I beat the game, I'm done. I'm cool, I don't need the DLC. I'm doing this now, and I moved on, So, yeah, a lot of people, I think, don't buy it, the same number of it. Now, a good DLC may draw in some people, too, and sell the original copy a little bit. They might release this awesome DLC, and everybody's like, oh my god, this changes the game, this makes everything amazing, blah, blah, blah. And so people come and say, you know what, I never got the original. Let me go ahead and buy the game. It's on sale now, and I'll get the DLC, and I'll have a lot of fun with it. So, it could happen. But as far as long-term sales, I don't know what they're expecting in long-term sales. It seems Ubisoft heavily discounts games quite often, and very soon after release, relatively speaking, compared to other games. So, yeah, I don't know if they're looking at, little $15 or $20 sales of that game down the road, and they just want to keep selling it at that, and nickel and diamond until they make their money back. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like a sound plan. Ubisoft did publicly announce reallocation of resources within its company back in May, where it revealed it was scrapping development of The Division Heartland at Red Storm Entertainment and reallocating resources to bigger opportunities, such as X-Defiant and Rainbow Six, and we're going to look at X-Defiant in a minute here. Furthermore, the company announced its strategic focus was to regain leadership in open-world adventures and expand footprint as games as a service. God, give it up, guys. Native experiences by leveraging ongoing efforts on proprietary cutting-edge technologies as a differentiating factor. So you want to give us more garbage, but you have new technology in it. Games as a service is not going to work, guys. I'm telling you. It's not going to work. You may strike gold. You haven't, any GAAS game, games as a service game that comes out may strike gold. It may be the next Fortnite, whatever. But chances are it isn't. Chances are all you're doing is throwing away hundreds of millions of dollars and who knows how many thousands and thousands of man-hours of development into a game that's going to last a year, 18 months, maybe less. Concord. Prince of Persia Lost Crown clearly does not fit any of those categories, as it is a 2D Metroidvania platformer. Regarding the game sales, the idea that they were soft is not surprising. The game recently released on Steam at the beginning of August and only hit a peak concurrent player count of 1446. In the past 24 hours, the game only hit a peak concurrent player count of just 123, 90% less. Wow. Sales estimates also indicate that the game sold at most 54,000 units and at a minimum 40,600 units. To put that in perspective, PlayTracker estimates that Concord sold 20,800 units, while VG Insights estimated it sold 25,000. Yeah, that's not a lot of games. So August, September, here we are in October, and it's already down over 90%. That's bad, man. That's really, really bad. Anyway, furthermore, the game released in Steam in August. It's likely Ubisoft was factoring in at least a decent bump in sales for its second quarter alongside the Star Wars Outlaws release. We know how that went. I'll link to this down below so you can read all this stuff we've all talked about before. Let's look at X-Defiant right now, because I know recently there was a bit of a kerfuffle on, I think it was X, where somebody talked about X-Defiant not meeting its goals and all that, and kind of lagging behind, and then one of the developers freaking out over that and denying everything and being very upset over it. So, X-Defiant, executive producer, claims Ubisoft has no plans to shut down after Season 4, but he admits numbers are down. Mark Rubin, executive producer on that game, responded that it has no plans to shut down after Season 4. He posted on X, "To be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after Season 4. I've literally been in meetings as of last week to discuss our Year 2 plans." He continued, "But right now we are super focused on improving the technical experience, which includes netcode, and adding more content for Seasons 3 and 4. However, he then admitted that player numbers are down. We've done very little marketing, so yes, our numbers are down, but that is just to give the team the time to get the game in a better place before we do bigger spends on marketing to bring new players to the game and bring back players that have left." So I guess what we're talking about here, and in a way this makes sense, right? So this is a live service game, so this is an always online game. This is the type of game that if it sucks, you're going to lose your player base. They're going to all go away, and most likely they're never going to come back. So I understand not marketing it or not over marketing it too much, kind of doing a what you would call a soft launch, maybe in a way, right? You get it out there, you get a few, you get a few thousand people, maybe 10, 20,000 people playing, and you say, okay, let's iron out the bugs, let's see what works, what doesn't work, and let's start improving the game. So that makes sense to me, but still, if it's underperforming, it's underperforming, because if you're planning on something like that, then you're not planning on the full, the full launch with millions of players and all that kind of thing, or hundreds of thousands of players, whatever. Anyway, Ruben's post appears to be a direct response to a rumor from ex-user Just for Leaks 2, who claimed that it was possible the game might get shut down at the end of Season 4 if it did not increase its player counts. The user wrote, X-Defiant is already dead. Ubisoft research team is asking their tester to have another in-house test session and give repeat feedback. He added multiple sources told that it's possible that the game will end its support after Season 4 if they can't get enough players. Yeah, I think that's the one I was talking about earlier, the thing that pissed him off. Anyway, the rumor didn't come out of left field. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot revealed on the company's most recent trading update call that sales are below expectations, leading to the company significantly reducing its net bookings for the second quarter. Star Wars Outlaws also contributed to a very poor second quarter. So, yeah, there's a lot going on at Ubisoft, and none of it's good. And, I mean, I'm looking at this game, and why do we have so much pink and weird colors in there, and mouse ears, or cat ears, whatever that is, and a pink mohawk? It's just, it's super gay looking, right? Here we are, another super gay looking shooter. And, not as gay looking as Concord was, but I mean, look at these colors. It's a very wokey looking game, for want of a better term. And I'm sure that's contributing to it not doing so well. And it probably, maybe they're going to force it through another season, maybe a second year. But I have a feeling this thing's going to fall by the wayside by the end of 2025 at the latest. Anyway, the information was completely different than to how Ubisoft and Guillemot touted the game, the company's first quarter sales report, where they touted its success, which launched its preseason on May 21st. He said at the time the quarter notably saw the launch of X-Defiant. That is off to an encouraging start as we continue to grow the audience at a steady pace and plan a quarterly roadmap of content that will allow us to firmly establish the game over time. Now, the report also shared the game that top viewership charts acquired more than 10 million players within its first 2 weeks. Wow. With players praising the thrilling, fast-paced gameplay and the map variety. That's the opposite of what they said about Concord. It also declared the game outperformed expectations thanks to acquisition and strong average revenue per session day. A report from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming claimed at the time of launch the game had over 1 million unique players in its first 2.5 hours and over 8 million in its first week. So those are impressive numbers right there. Not going to lie. Yeah, not going to lie. However, Henderson also reported at the end of August that things were not looking good for X-Defiant. The game was seeing continuously declining players and lack of player spending. The game's been struggling to obtain 20,000 concurrent players across all its platforms. Ubisoft will probably be happy with that number. That suggests it's even lower. Yeah, not doing so good. So, got a couple bad things going on here for Ubisoft. They're not doing so well. People are striking. And, we're continuing to watch this once great company fall apart in real time. And, on one hand it's sad, and on the other hand it's quite satisfying because they've embraced these horrible ideologies at Ubisoft, this DEI wokeness, and then this whole you don't own your games, it just, they come across as a bunch of entitled pricks, and I feel like, they want to just churn out whatever garbage they want to churn out and force us to play it, and not have any pushback on it, right? I mean, look at, look at Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then Beyond and Hex, which is supposed to be the gayest Assassin's Creed ever, and I'm already hearing rumors that people are freaking out over there inside Ubisoft, like, well, maybe this is not going to go so well. Yeah, you freaking think, guys? Come on, man. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down below on Ubisoft and all the nonsense that's going on there. Do you think this company is going to go private? Do you think they're going to shut down, sell their IPs? What do you think is going to happen? Maybe just straighten the ship up. I mean, that's always a possibility, right? Yves Guillemot can wake up one morning and go, you know what? I'm not going to be a joke anymore. And he can go in there and fire all the idiots that are pushing all these different agendas in there and making their games suck. And then you can just hire some new people, bring some new people in. Make the games great. Make gaming great again, right? Anyway, Leave a like on the video down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you next time. Until then, peace.